Hi guys, I'm Saumya and I'm back again with another video. I hope you're all well and safe. So I make a lot of bookish content on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel but you are a book lover, then you definitely should. And also don't forget to click on the bell icon. In today's video, I am going to talk about a book which was sent to me by the author, and that book is The Influencer Speed Must Have a Limit by Abhaidev. So let's get into the video. So the genre of this book is thriller. The Influencer is a story of a man named Aditya Gupta who is an influencer in a true sense. So when you hear the word influencer, you immediately think of the social media influencers, but that is not what this story talks about. Aditya genuinely has the power to influence people with his mind, to make them agree to what he wants them to agree to, and also to make them servile. So he's a part of a secret society called WIS, or World Influencers Society, and basically all the influencers who are a part of this society work for police forces or intelligence agencies or leaders to help them get what they want, to help them negotiate deals, to help them do their bidding, all of that. So on the surface, Aditya is a normal government employee, but in reality he works for the Prime Minister of the country to help him do his bidding and to also help him negotiate deals with different world leaders. That's his true job. So everything is going fine for him until one day his wife Shreya stumbles upon a series of videos where after watching them she learns about Aditya's true identity as an influencer. Now after this happens, Aditya gets in big danger because a very big rule of the WIS is that the influencers are supposed to keep their identity a secret. So after Shreya learns about Aditya's identity, this rule is broken and now they want Aditya dead. So danger is looming large. Now the story is about whether Aditya will be able to dodge it or not. Now talking about my experience of reading The Influencer by Abhaidev. So I read this as an ebook on my Kindle, and this book has 320 pages, and I read this book in 3 sittings. Now this was one of those books that hooked me right from the start. I mean, there are certain books that take time for you to get into. This was not one of those books. I was intrigued from the very beginning, so for me this book had a very promising start. Also, I feel that the pace of this story is fairly fast. So every single time that I would sit down to read this book, I would read 100 pages or so, and those 100 pages would get over super quickly. So I really love that about this book. And the mark of a good thriller is that you should want to read it till the very end, and also it should be a page turner. So this book checked both those boxes. Now one of the biggest strengths of this book was the uniqueness of its plot. As a reader, I have never come across a story like this, and that really stood out for me in case of this book because the plot was so unique. I literally did not know what to expect. Of course, there were other factors as well, but the primary success of this book lies in its uniqueness. So one of the biggest reasons for a story to be not that interesting is when it gets predictable. So that is not the case with this story at all. So that is something that works very well for this book. It's very different. So there are other things as well, obviously, that are good about this book. As I already said, that this is a fast-paced book, so that's great. Another thing is how it has been written. The writing is very easy to follow and is very simple, and also the writing has a very effortless flow and it goes well with the story. So the first half, especially in this book, addresses some rather different topics that are aside from the fact that this is a thriller. It talks about certain things like people's greed for money. I mean, those are the topics that I have been thinking about quite a lot these days, so that definitely resonated with me a lot while reading this book. I think that was just coincidence that I happened to be thinking along the same lines while reading this book, and it also addressed those topics. But yeah, that was an additional thing that I liked about this book. So if I talk about the characters in this story, and if I talk about Aditya in particular because he's the protagonist of the story, his character has been explored pretty well in the story and he is a well fleshed out character. There are certain other characters as well that caught my interest. So this story is taking place in a world different from ours. It's taking place in a country called Seneca or Seneca. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. Some other countries were also mentioned in the story, but even their names were completely different. So definitely some amount of world building has gone into this story. Also So it talks about influencers, people who can influence others with their mind, so that definitely lends a fantasy like element to the story as well, although primarily this is a thriller. So overall my experience of reading this book was a good one, and if you want to check out a thriller with a very unique and a very different story that will keep you hooked till the end, then this is a book that you can definitely consider picking up, and I'll leave the link for you to check this book out in the description box. So that was it for today's review. I hope you liked it. If you want to connect with me on my social media, the links are in the description box. I will see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye, take care and stay safe.